तो एट दिस पॉइंट हम चाहेंगे कि आपको कोई सवाल पूछने हैं इसी से, तो आप सवाल पूछिए।
Ma'am, as you have mentioned that industries are downgrading their quality of food and everything, and which is triggering our guts and giving spikes to autoimmune diseases. So how can we go on a preventive side of it? How can we prevent autoimmune diseases which doesn't have any symptoms and they come up without any symptoms and all?
So essentially, if you have a family history of say autoimmunity, then you are at risk, and this is an interplay between your genes and the environmental triggers, and that's what manifests in the disease. So basically a leaky gut, and if we call it the trilogy: leaky gut, environmental trigger and genetics, all three things interplay. So genetics को हम बदल नहीं सकते, और everybody who has a gene for something doesn't mean that the disease will happen. You have the environmental tools to deal with it. So I would suggest if there is an autoimmune issue in the family, get your food intolerance test. Go for the elimination of certain foods and trigger foods and heal your leaky gut. So healing requires elimination and then reintroduction of certain foods. So do it under supervision. Then do your nutritional assessments. Do a vitamin D check, do your B12 and iron and all of those nutritional parameters what we routinely check. Get optimum levels of those. Introduce good fats. Good fats as in, in India we have mustard oil. Avoid the refined oils, avoid highly polyunsaturated fats जो traditionally use हो रहे हैं. Coconut oil, sesame oil, fish oils, take the right kind of good fats to build up. And butter and ghee, they also help to build the gut lining. So introduce good fats and introduce probiotics and prebiotics. And prebiotics are nothing but fiber rich food. So it goes back to the vegetables and fruit story. Have whole grains, right? And take of course increase your intake of vegetables, etc., and fruits. And fasting. So we said you need to clean up. Treat the body like your house or your car. Clean up. So maybe a fruit and vegetable fast every alternate day. Very good way of resetting your body. Or do the intermittent fasting, 16 hours of. So whatever and then you'll start seeing the difference and choose, like I said, the right time to eat also. So all of these have been shown to reduce the inflammation, and once you reduce the inflammation, you also heal the leaky gut. And they're all linked. It's a chicken and egg. We don't know whether the leaky gut came from wheat or wheat, so it's the other both ways, but it doesn't matter. We know that we have to address the gut, and to heal the leaky gut, we also need the good bacteria to be in our favor. And of course, other lifestyle things, yoga, cardio, meditation, sleep, positive relationships, positive content, all that is a great combination. So along with diet, but of course diet is the primary.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Ma'am, I have this question that majority of people living in India works in night shift. As you said, we should eat our meal till 7 p.m. So how should they manage their diet?
I have several, and when you talk about this, like you said, the book Eating at Work is addressing this, and it's called the graveyard shift. And I know people who have gained just by same food but eating because of the professional compulsions of the other side of the day, 10-12 kgs average एक साल में weight बढ़ जाता है, same food. So I have patients who have been managed but eating during that time, eat your lightest. Just take fluids, take fruits, take nuts. Don't tax your system. When you're in your daytime sleeping, उसी time आपके जैसे morning में आप घर गए, उस समय खाना शुरू करो. So reset your eating at that time should be very minimal and should be very light.
एरेटेड ड्रिंक्स मैं समझता हूँ नहीं लेना चाहिए. आपने कहा लिक्विड लें, लिक्विड लें, लेकिन एरेटेड ड्रिंक्स जो है उनको
शुगरी
अवॉइड
ड्रिंक्स,
करें।
शुगरी ड्रिंक्स नहीं लेने। शुगर तो जहाँ पे हो सके आप कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ करो, और शुगर के बजाय गुड़ है, हनी है, ड्राई फ्रूट्स हैं, हेल्दी फ्रूट्स, फ्रेश फ्रूट्स, उनका इस्तेमाल करो। शुगर को ट्रीट्स के उसमें रखो, बिकॉज शुगर नॉट ओनली इज समथिंग टू डू विद ओबेसिटी, इट्स ऑल्सो इफेक्ट्स द गट माइक्रोबायोम।
Ma'am, as you said, like, the wheat that we eat, like all the people eat wheat from the rural areas that we get. How come it affects less in the rural areas, like the disease affect?
वही मैंने आपको during the conversation I said their exposure. So for instance I was talking to my staff in comes from the village, so sugar तो वहाँ पे होती नहीं है, hardly any consumption of sugar, they only have gur, that also in their tea. They don't eat mithai the way we eat mithai, or cookies or cakes and all the bakery stuff. There's zero over there. That's not their food. We think that is our food. भूख लगी तो कुकी खा ली, भूख लगी तो केक खा ली, भूख लगी तो ब्रेड खा ली। उनके लिए वो फूड है ही नहीं। वो खाते हैं अपना जो उगाते हैं फील्ड्स में, उनका फ्रेश सब्ज़ी, घर के लिए वो दवाई भी नहीं डालते, दाल सब्ज़ी और फ्रेश ग्रीन्स, and the exposure to toxins is far lesser. The air is purer. They don't take the antibiotics that we take just at the drop of a hat. They take herbs, जड़ी बूटी से अपने वो आपको ठीक करते हैं, तो उनकी गट इतनी लीकी नहीं होती, इसलिए उनको वो परेशान नहीं कर रही इतनी compared to an urban person. और one of the reasons perhaps that वहाँ पे कोविड इतना नहीं हुआ is this, because this immune function was preserved. And this takes me to a very important part of this discussion कि खाना क्या है, how do we know whether we are eating right? ठीक है, हमारे को मोटापा नहीं है, हम ठीक है, but are we eating right? So इसके लिए एक चेकलिस्ट है, चेकलिस्ट 5 चीज़ों की। एक, डेली आपको ग्रीन लीफी वेजिटेबल या कोई सीजनल साग एटलीस्ट डेली नहीं तो 5 बार हफ्ते में लेना ही लेना है। गर्मियों का साग, सर्दियों का साग, बीच का साग, लेटस, whatever, some green leafy vegetables every day. 1 carrot, 1 cucumber, 1 tomato, or 1 carrot, 1 cucumber, 1 beetroot, 1 carrot, 1 cucumber and something, or 1 मूली, गाजर, some 3 raw vegetables every day. चाहे सैलेड में लो, चाहे जूस निकाल के लो, लेना है। एक आंवला कम से कम मिनिमम, मतलब नींबू या आंवला का कोई ना कोई फॉर्म आपने लेना है, ठीक है? डिफ़िकल्ट? नो। 1 or 2, एटलीस्ट 2, इफ़ यू आर नॉट डायबिटिक एंड यू डोंट हैव अ प्रॉब्लम, 2 फ्रूट्स अ डे। सीजनल फ्रूट्स, कोई एग्जॉटिक की ज़रूरत नहीं है, केला ही खा लो, सेब खा लो, बट रंग में खाओगे तो अच्छा है, बदल बदल के खाओगे, अलग अलग रंग खाओगे तो उसमें एडवांटेज है। सो सीजनल फ्रूट एंड a handful of nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds we can all afford. If we can't afford, मूंगफली चना तो है ही, ठीक है ना, एक मुट्ठी भर वो डेली आप कोशिश करो लेने की। और कोई ना कोई प्रोबायोटिक, प्रीबायोटिक, कोई फाइबर, कोई समथिंग, सम सप्लीमेंट्स आप लो, दैट्स अ 6th one. बट ये 5 चीज़ों की चेकलिस्ट आप बना लो, बिल्कुल मुश्किल नहीं है। प्रोटीन्स मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया कि प्रोटीन्स पे ध्यान दो, कम से कम 2 या 3 बार। इतना कर लोगे ना, उसके बाद अपने आप ऑटो मोड पे आ जाओगे, ठीक है? मॉर्निंग।
Actually, I correlated a lot to today's talk because recently one of my friend was admitted to hospital for a week or so because sudden drop in her health and they couldn't pinpoint what was the problem. And after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they concluded that it was because of her intestine and heavy intake of caffeine, and she was advised to change her diet, and this caused her a lot of anxiety too because the change in diet was sudden, and as you said, there are many alternatives in our industry. So what to choose, which product to choose, like even for one product there are many brands, so like that caused many problems like eating disorders too. So how to prevent that?
So, what I'm hearing from you is that the problem is how to make healthy choices in the healthy food industry.
The change in diet and we have to avoid wheat because of
Actually, that's a very good question. Why? Because people think the message somehow that goes by is, oh, we must avoid wheat. But what? What do you take instead of wheat? And I give the most easy example is when you become vegetarian for health reasons. But in India, vegetarianism is generally, अगर आप vegetarian buffet में जाएंगे तो सबसे पहले मिलेगा पनीर, छोले, दाल, है ना, चावल, ये चीज़ें मिलेंगी. सब्जियों की बात नहीं होती. तो जो ब्राइट ग्रीन हमने सब्जियों की बात करी, जो सब्जी वाले पे, वो तो सब्जी इतनी सी वो किसी मसाले में होगी. That's not vegetarianism, right? So when we talk about vegetarianism, it's different from when the Westerners talk. Westerners talk vegetarian, they talk vegetables. We don't have those kind of vegetables, and we substituted with puri, parathas and aloo. So similarly, when you substitute wheat, it has to be a good substitute. And let me tell you, a lot of research has pointed that people who go gluten-free can have problems because of this. Because they end up eating rice and gluten-free alternatives which are very unhealthy. उसमें भी वो काफ़ी चीज़ें डाल देते हैं to resemble wheat, इतने सारे additives, chemicals, वो सब नहीं. So alternatives to wheat is very, very important. You must ensure the principles of healthy eating are adhered to. Carbohydrates, sugars and too much of rice have to be controlled. And packed food, if you are taking, it should be minimum. Eat fresh food. डब्बे वाले खाने, पैक्ड खाने एज ऑल्टरनेटिव इज़ नॉट अ गुड आइडिया. हाँ, ट्रीट के लिए ठीक है, आपने कभी ब्रेड खानी है तो खा लिया, कभी केक खाना है तो खा लिया ऑल्टरनेटिव, दैट्स ऑल फाइन. बट इफ़ यू आर गोइंग ऑन अ सीरियस ग्लूटेन फ्री डाइट, देन दैट cheating is also not allowed. That is a very important aspect of this, that in celiac disease we cannot have even traces of gluten ideally. That's the way, because even traces can ignite the inflammation. And also in non-celiac wheat sensitivity, it should be kept zero if you have a problem. And इसमें इतनी beautiful example देती हूँ कि अगर आपने हटा दी और उसको रीइंट्रोड्यूस किया तो बॉडी बहुत वायलेंटली रिएक्ट करती है. अगर आप चावल छोड़ोगे या आप आम छोड़ दोगे 8 महीने और उसको दोबारा खाओगे, कुछ नहीं होता. लेकिन ये एक टेस्ट है कि आपने इतना सा भी खा लिया तो बॉडी फिर बता देती है. So cheating is not an option really in this situation, and healthier options, which includes having the right kind of proteins, having all proteins are not the same. Let's put it again straight. All proteins are not the same, all carbohydrates are not the same, all fats are not the same, all sugars are not the same, and all of us are not the same. We are all unique. So we just protein का इतना ज़्यादा emphasis हो गया है आजकल youth में. Particularly जिम घुसते ही एक डब्बा पकड़ा दिया जाता है. Very wrong, very bad. So it is to be taken intelligently, make the right choices, and sometimes seek professional help.
So friends, today we came to know what to eat and what not to eat. अगर आप अच्छा खाना खाएंगे और इन सभी बातों का ध्यान रखेंगे जो ईशी खोसला ने आज हमें बताई, तो हमारे चेहरे पर रौनक आएगी, और रौनक आएगी, सेहत अच्छी होगी, पढ़ाई अच्छी होगी, तो सब कुछ अच्छा होगा. So thank you very much Ishi, and thank you very much our young friends. आज हम इस कार्यक्रम में आइल्स को इंक्लूड नहीं कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमारे दर्शकों ने कहा कि आइल्स के लिए हम अलग से प्रोग्राम बनाएं. तो मैं आपको ये बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि आगे से हम आइल्स के लिए एक अलग प्रोग्राम बनाएंगे और रेगुलरली उसके बारे में आपको बताएंगे. जो लोग इंटरेस्टेड हैं बाहर जाने में, पढ़ाई करने में या फिर वहाँ जाके जॉब करने में, उन्हें आइल्स पास करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, और अच्छे बैंड के साथ हो तो बहुत ही अच्छा रहेगा, क्योंकि अच्छा बैंड अगर होगा तो आपको कई यूनिवर्सिटीज़ फेलोशिप और स्कॉलरशिप्स देती हैं. तो उसके लिए हम अलग से प्रोग्राम करेंगे. अब मेरी आपसे गुजारिश यही है कि हमारे शो को, द अवतार सेठी शो को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, बेल आइकॉन दबाइए, शेयर कीजिए और लाइक कीजिए. थैंक यू very much, and we'll meet again in another program with another personality. Thank you very much.